everyone, welcome to the VW Porsche 911, the king of all sports cars. All M3s and C63s wish they could be as good. All Ferraris and Lamborghinis wish they could be as reliable. The 911 then is not only the ideal sports car for you, whether you are an enthusiast or just getting into the car market, it is also a prime time rental car, since it is reliable but also more desirable than your base M3 C63. Now, before I start, I have nothing wrong with the M3 and C63. I actually owned a F80 M3, whatever, M2 as well. I've owned BMW products and I love them. They're great. They're fantastic cars. They're just not as good as the 911. They're just not. Especially ones that are in that 70 to 90K range. You're getting a much more luxurious car. You're getting a much more appealing car, and you're going to love it every time you get in it. It's also going to be way faster on track. Now, for the car people finding this video, just leave and go to the end if you're wanting about my price calculation for Turo. This part isn't for you. This is for people who want a brief history of the 911. The 911 started as the VW Bug. No, seriously, it started as the VW Bug. That intro video really is the truth. It started as a rear-engine car, and it has grown into the icon it is today. The great thing about the 911 is it hasn't really changed its formula too much. Rear engines, rear-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, and perfection. It has amazing sounds, amazing inputs, and everyone today would argue that it's the best sports car ever made, period. And I'm not talking about, is the F40 better? Is the Pagani Zonda Cinque better? I'm not arguing that. I am arguing of all time. It has broken records. It has sold the most. It has done the most of any model ever. The great thing about 911s as well is it's like the Skittles. You can literally pick any flavor you want. My personal favorite 911 is the 911 Turbo S from the 991.2 generation. I love the Turbo S because it's ridiculous and insanely fast. That's a $220,000 car. And Porsche says, great, you can spend that with us. You could also go with a base Carrera and spend 89 to 99K, and they would say, great, awesome, have it your way. More like McDonald's and Skittles almost at that point. But that's the thing about Porsche. Whether you're spending a lot of money or just a little bit in their brand, it's going to be a great experience overall. Even my Macan, which was $29,000, is still a delight and extremely reliable. As always, team, I'm going to break this video into 3 parts. Part 1 is going to be finding one. I'm going to do a bit of a different take on this today. 2 is going to be my profit calculation, how much money you're going to make. 3 is going to be my stamp of approval. I think you already know where I'm going with that. Finding a 911 for rental purposes, I want you to put yourself in the renter's shoe. Most renters will not own a sports car. Most renters will not have experienced a car of this caliber or ability. And ability, I mean how much a 911 can do, how much it can handle, how fast it can go. So you need to be really careful when picking your model. There's tons of 911. There's Turbo, GT3, C2, C2S, C4S. Today we're going to be looking at a Carrera 4S. The Carrera 4S is the perfect model for someone that's looking for something a bit safe, but also still extremely fun. I love the C4S for everyone. It's what I suggest to people when they're like, well, I don't know what to get. I go, you should try a Carrera 4S. It's gonna hold its value, and it's gonna be extremely safe. You can drive it in the rain, and you wouldn't even bat an eye. You'd feel like you're driving like a Range Rover. Okay, so for today, we're gonna look at a 15 plus Carrera 4S. This is gonna give you the 991, 991.2 models of the car. And today I'm gonna compare 2 cars. Today we have the first one. Yeah, this is the one I would pick. This is the one I would personally pick. I like this one a lot. It's chalk over black wheels, over a black interior, and it has the updated interior of the 991.2. It's a gorgeous car. It's a head turner for sure. It's not only a sports car at this point, but it's also giving a supercar vibe. It's gorgeous at $89,000, and I think it could rent really well for you. It's well optioned and, again, perfect. Your second option is this car. It is a GT Silver on Porsche wheels. They're like kind of like the standard, like they're on the Cayenne and Macan and a bunch of other. They're on a bunch of vehicles, so it's very standard. It's very Porsche. When you think of Porsche, you think of this color. And it's on black interior, which is always great. This car is significantly cheaper. It's about $7K less lot less than the actual one I'm looking at today. But again, this is just to give you a option today. These are both great cars. They both will do similar numbers. I just would prefer to have the chalk one. When you're thinking about depreciation with these cars, again, like in the Urus video, I said get a color that really stands out. And the chalk is like, it's like the color when it comes to 911. You know, I would definitely suggest that one. For my cost calculation, I am going to price my car at $87,999. That's going to give you a financing of $1,618 a month. I would assume the insurance is going to be close to my Audi R8, so we're going to do about $220 a month. Maintenance is going to be about $100 a month. 911s are super reliable. It's about the same running cost as a Nissan Sentra if you do some of the maintenance yourself. Change the oil yourself. It's not hard. It's easy. You're going to save like $800 as compared to going to the Porsche dealership. Depreciation sort of doesn't exist for these cars. They don't depreciate that much. So we are going to go with a price per day of $300 times 12 times 0.8 minus your total net expenses, which are $1,938, which is going to give you $942 in profit per month. Excellent. Great numbers. Now, does this get my stamp of approval? I would say so. Really like the idea of renting out a 911. I think it's safe. It draws the right customers. It's not a super big flex vehicle, so you're not going to find it in a bad neighborhood. I mean, most of the time you won't, hopefully, fingers crossed. I think a lot of weddings and things like that, it'll attract that. So it does give you a very good all-around car. Now, what I suggested is like your first like 10 rental cars. No, I would suggest having this once you've scaled your business and you can easily afford to take a hit on this car. This is something you would more so buy when you're having fun. Like, you know, you're like, okay, like this is something I can do, which is just kind of like a off thing. Team, I appreciate your time, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.